Welcome to the Legacy Leaders Podcast. Are you doing the best for your client to help them create their legacy? Are you creating a plan that goes far beyond finances to help people ensure that it becomes the driving force behind all decisions? On this podcast, hosts Katie Beth Hand and Stan Miller will help you with growing your practice and your clients' peace of mind. Together, they bring the best and brightest minds to share with you how to help your clients develop their best legacy. And now, here are your hosts, Katie Beth and Stan.
Welcome to the Legacy Leaders Podcast. I'm your guest host, Rod Hatley of Hatley Law Group here in San Diego, California. And today I have the privilege to speak with a longtime colleague of mine, Matt Rinkey, who is a financial advisor. He's also a certified exit planning advisor with his own company, Illumination Wealth, here in San Diego. Matt, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay. Let me ask you, let's just kick it right off. How did you get involved with financial advising? I mean, what led you to what you're doing now?
Yeah, I think it was all family experience. As a kid, I got interested in the stock market by way of my grandfather, who bought some shares of stock for me when I was born. Yeah. Fast forward a few years, he was a business owner himself, Depression era guy, blue collar glove manufacturing business. Eventually sold that company and had an exit where he had his retirement nest egg and was set for life. Fast forward a few years, the advice or lack thereof that he got impacted us for generations. He pretty much lost everything within a few years of his retirement. And this just changed the arc of our family forever. It impacted relationships. It impacted the timeline in which, my parents, my family could be financially free because they had to then support their parents, which could have been the other way around, right? Where colleges were paid for and could have been generational, legacy wealth created, and the exact opposite happened because of what my grandfather's bad advice, mistreatment from his team, to the lack of planning. And so that kind of set me on my path, combining the investment experience, the family experience, to want to, make sure that what we experience never happens to anybody else.
Thank you for sharing that. I know it's an incredibly powerful story, and it drives home the point that, you've lived the nightmare of seeing what bad planning or lack of good planning, I don't know if it's necessarily bad, but lack of good planning can do to a family, and it ripples through the generations. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Yeah. Let me ask you this. With the clients that you work with, what do you enjoy most? And maybe what is your least favorite thing to do as a financial advisor?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we love being able to help clients kind of actualize a new direction or something that they never thought was possible, whether it was beliefs that they had, worries that they didn't have the financial resources to do something to make these decisions. And so for us to be able to remove those barriers, to help them make the choice to exit their business, to move out of the country, to build a home somewhere, is what's most fulfilling. To be, to really have those, to really see them actualize the path that they want, that they never really knew was possible. That's really what brings the most meaning for me on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. Anything that I guess maybe the administrative is probably not high on your list of priorities, or the things that you enjoy doing. I suppose I imagine you've got someone helping you with the back office support and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, no, we have a team, Illumination Wealth. There's 11 of us that are all supporting clients in their decisions. Sometimes we're here to be of service and to be a support structure for our clients, whether it's to help save them time, whether it's to help save them money. Like, we want to be a value-added partner. And so we're always open to things. Certainly some of the administration stuff that comes along with running a business is not the most fun, but at the same time, it's the path that I chose, and wouldn't change it.
Excellent. Can you share with me, well, you've already shared your family story, and that's incredibly powerful. Can you share a client experience possibly where, the planning that you did made a noticeable difference for them? And maybe one where, despite your best efforts, they just didn't take your advice and things didn't come out as well as, you or they might have hoped.
Yeah.
Can you share either of those with us?
Yeah. So, I mean, a client success story, we have the benefit of working with clients that are still, I would say, in the growth phases of their life. They're not always, 75 living off Social Security. They're entrepreneurial in nature, in 40s, 50s. For some of our clients, for one of our clients in particular, have a family, have children, have done a great job of, accumulating wealth over time. But with that, it's it's become a burden. It's gotten more complex. They've set up multiple trusts. They've done gifting in the past. They have different investments that take their time and now serve as a distraction. So we've helped to professionalize their entire investment strategy. We've reshaped the way that their trusts are help them reshape the way that their trusts are structured, what investments are held, what the new investment plan is to provide the income for them, and so that they have the resources that they need to live their life. And then at the same time, eliminated a lot of the administration that was involved with managing their wealth on a day-to-day basis, so they can be focused on the things that matter most to them. And that's getting them out of all the day-to-day decisions that go along with, the wealth that they have created. So it's certainly a success story for us. And now, seeing them make decisions where, they're buying a place near where their kids and grandkids live, so that they're able to spend the time with family, with contribution to the community in ways that they weren't able to in the past because of their previous, structures and commitments. So certainly one that stands out to me. Absolutely.
And maybe a situation where, despite your best efforts, the clients just could not get on board, or maybe they just would not take your excellent advice and they just did their own thing, and it really did not end as well as either you or they would have hoped.
Yeah. So, one client situation that stands out to us, they were referred to us from another client of ours, a professional partner. And this is always a learning experience. Who's the right fit for us?
Right.
And the relationship was really led from investment only, like, what help me with my investments. And that was a kind of a warning sign to begin with, but let alone we decided we feel like we can help, like we're here to help and serve. And so, we took on this client, and they are very, very skittish about investing, whether it's in stocks, whether it's in CDs, money market, treasury bonds. And so we wanted to help this person build a portfolio that could sustain their lifestyle beyond just a number of years based on the withdrawals that they were taking. And so we designed a really conservative portfolio for them that was structured in a way that allowed them to have the living expenses that they needed for the next 12 years set up, with some additional income generating opportunities for the time horizon 3, 5, 10 years down the road. Well, lo and behold, this client was not comfortable with like any bit of like fluctuation or volatility in the portfolio, even using like a short-term treasury bill fund that virtually, if you held it to maturity, would have no risk. And that type, there were kind of underlying deep, probably rooted money trauma issues that were impacting this client and their ability to be an investor and to ensure that they would have the financial resources to sustain themselves. And so that's kind of an example of a client where, we were able to refer them out to financial therapists to start to work on those things before it make sense for us to engage again on any, financial strategy relationship. So I always want to do the best we can and get them the support that they need.
Can you share with us, a time when completing business with someone was one of the greatest experiences that you had as a financial advisor, and also one of your worst experiences? And it doesn't really have to be what we just talked about, but maybe it could have just been a very modest investment that, has really grown through nurturing and investing, et cetera, with maybe not particularly wealthy client, but somebody who saw the value of what you do and decided they wanted to work with you. Can you share something like that with us?
Yeah, I think a couple of the worst experiences that we've had within our clients' financial lives is when they were taken advantage of through a financial fraud situation. And one of our clients was gonna sold their home, buying a new home to be closer to their children, and they ended up getting caught in a scam and wired money to somebody who was a bad actor, and it was a significant amount of money, and they were shaken. However, we had the ability as a company to help find ways to get some of that back and to take certain actions. And
Sure.
so by certain actions that we supported the client with. And so that's certainly fulfilling, knowing that in their like worst of times financially, on their worst experiences, that we were able to then help mitigate it to some degree, and help protect them in the future for circumstances like this. And so that's always the worst thing, to see somebody just completely taken advantage of. And it's just like, who do you trust when those type of things happen? So definitely an experience there for sure.
Well, yeah, and you've hit on the keyword trust, and I know that there's a phrase out there, trusted advisor. Let's talk about that for a moment. I know
Yeah.
what it means to me, and I suspect you've got your own definition of that. But can you share with our listeners what it means to you, at least, to be a trusted advisor to your clients?
Yeah, for sure. Well, in the financial planning and investment world, there's this term fiduciary, which
Yeah,
you got to take an oath and basically say that we will put our clients' best interests first. So I think about our company, Illumination Wealth. Our first core value is we put you first and we got your back. It's somewhat hard to define in our industry. To me, the price of admission is putting them first.
no
And
question. Yeah,
but at the end of the day is like, how do we have our clients back? Like, that's what we are here for. We want to serve as their financial bodyguard, the people that know them inside out, to be able to make sure that they're always making the decisions with their goals and values in mind.
yeah.
And so I don't specifically know how to say trusted advisor, but for us, it's like, we've got our clients back. We're not just putting our clients first because we say we have to. We have their back no matter what.
Terrific. I mean, I think that's well said, and for anybody listening, I think that should really resonate, because obviously, they expect to be put first. Put them first above your own financial gain, but also to have their backs too. I mean, I think that's incredibly powerful as a statement of your philosophy, how you uh, conduct business at Illumination Wealth, and the way you train your team to
Yeah,
service the clients that you're privileged to serve. So,
absolutely.
okay. Tell me, if you would, what it means to you to be a financial advisor. I mean, obviously, you got into the business because you had seen, what a lack of good planning, the devastation that it could result in. But what does it mean to you, really, to be a financial advisor? Have you ever given some thought to that?
Yeah, for sure. I think to be a financial advisor, it's not just financial, right? I think that's what it's led with. At the end of the day, financial resources are there to support one's life. And
Sure.
so we kind of see ourselves as financial life planners. And my title is like the chief financial life officer of the company. And our real role, I think a lot of people go to a financial advisor because they want to get a return on their investment.
Right.
We want to enhance the returns on our clients' entire financial life. And that might be quantitative because we're able to identify ways to save them money or reduce taxes or enhance their wealth through investment strategy, but also the return on their life. And that might be through freeing up time. That might be through how the decisions that they're making, the experiences that they're having. And so we really are here to enhance their entire financial life and get the best return on the entire financial life, not simply the investment portfolio. That's just one component. We want our clients to have a rich life and a rich life beyond money.
That's a very holistic way to approach it. That's terrific. Thank you for sharing that, because for a lot of people, for a lot of advisors, unfortunately, it's just about the transaction. And it sounds like that doesn't work for you guys. It's the whole person. It's everything that they're concerned about, or become your concerns too.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Tell me, or tell the listeners, if you would, what's an ideal client for you? or at least for Illumination Wealth, because I suspect you have different categories. But what would be an ideal client to work with your company?
Yeah, so an ideal client of ours is somebody that's still, I would say, driven in the growth phase of their life. A lot of our clients are, in their 40s. They have families, they have businesses, and they've built a successful business at this point. And so many advisors out there want the liquidity at the exit. They want to work. You talked about transactional. They're waiting for that liquidity from the event when they sell the company. We don't care about the liquidity at the end of the company. We care about our clients' life, and there is planning that needs to be done to help them live that best life before any exit, whether they sell to a third party or they decide to keep their business and transfer it to the next generation. Like, that's what we're here for. So our ideal client is one that, it is community driven, wants to make an impact in their lives, in their families' lives, in their communities' lives, that are entrepreneurial in nature. And many, whether they are direct investors themselves, they like to go out and acquire real estate. We love to be able to do strategic, creative planning for our clients. And it doesn't matter whether they have $0 in a traditional investment or millions of dollars in a traditional investment portfolio, but one that's willing to take their advice and engage in planning, because it's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. Like, things are constantly changing, and we're always here to support them and manage their financial life on an ongoing basis with integrity.
Can you share with the listeners what a certified exit planning advisor is? What does that person do, and why would the listeners want to work with someone like that who has that designation?
Yeah, so this designation basically supports business owners with being prepared to eventually exit and maximize, I would say, their life around their future exit from their business. And so we want our clients to, be prepared, understand the gaps that they have in their business, be prepared for that future exit, whether it happens on their terms or whether it happens not on their terms. And we are not always in control of how life unfolds. And so we want to make sure that our clients are able to maximize the value of their time, their business, and prepare themselves for that eventual exit, whether they want to retire in their business or retire and exit outside of the company.
Okay. Well said. Thank you for sharing that. And I think it resonates. And how soon, for those prospective clients, let's say, who have a business and maybe they're looking to exit, is there a rule of thumb that you would like to recommend? Hey, you should be coming to see us, by this date before you're selling or you're thinking about selling.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a great question. Most entrepreneurs prepare way too late, and then that leads to not the most successful outcome. So I would say, if we had a magic wand, 3 to 5 years in advance of that actual exit is when somebody should actually get started. The way that we think about it is, like, any business should be built with the end in mind. What is the life that we want to have? How do we want to relate to our business? Do we want to be able to coach our kids' little league team and show up at, our kids' school events? Or is the business running you? So no matter what it is, there's always work to be done to build that business around the life that you want to have. But in terms of actual pre-exit planning, from estate planning, tax minimization, 3 to 5 years probably makes the most sense from that standpoint.
Excellent. Okay. And last question, how can any of the listeners who are tuning in today, how can they get in touch with you? How can you be found?
Yeah, for sure. I can be found. My email is Matt, M-A-T-T, @illuminationwealth.com. The website is illuminationwealth.com. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn at Matt Rinkey as well, where always just trying to share value, share resources, unique planning opportunities that we come across. So that'd be a great place to find me.
And before we conclude, any last thoughts, parting thoughts, or advice, suggestions, anything for the listeners?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think at the end of the day, your money, it's part of your life. And at times when things are good in the economy, people can get complacent. So I think we always should, have a second opinion done of whether it's our taxes, our financial planning, and make sure that you have a clear expectations about the professional relationship that you have. Not a lot of people understand the engagement stand, have a really clear engagement plan with their professional team, and they're not getting the most out of it in the way that they should. And so no matter who you work with, make sure that you build your team. And now's a great time to assess, do you have the right caliber of people on your financial team?
Thank you so much. This has been the Legacy Leaders Podcast with your guest host, Rod Hatley of Hatley Law Group here in San Diego. And it's been my privilege to speak with my longtime colleague, Matt Rinkey, a certified exit planning advisor with Illumination Wealth here in San Diego. Matt, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you. Appreciate being here. Have a great one, Rod.
You've been listening to the Legacy Leaders Podcast with Katie Beth Hand and Stan Miller. For more information on them and the show, please visit pinnaclelegacylaw.com. If you like what you've learned today, do share the program with your friends and subscribe wherever podcasts are found.